What is the difference in battery life between the iPhone 15, iPhone 15 Pro, iPhone 15 Plus and the iPhone 15 Pro Max? And is it really worth buying the larger models just because of the longer battery life? Well, if you're curious about all of that, my name is Vic with PhoneArena and we have the answers. We have run battery tests on all four iPhone 15 models. The smaller iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Pro have similar battery capacity, but the Pro model actually has a slightly smaller battery. And then you have the iPhone 15 Plus and iPhone 15 Pro Max, which both have roughly 30% bigger battery than the smaller models. And the iPhone 15 Pro Max actually has the largest battery in the series. So what is the real world difference in battery life? We have fully charged all the iPhones, and as we unplug them, we start running our first web browsing battery test. This is a simple test. You have a selection of web pages which refresh at a set interval, and the script browses up and down to simulate a real browsing experience. Also, all phones are set at the same brightness level before the start of the test to ensure equal conditions. And we let this test run for hours, but we won't show you the full thing, and instead you see a placeholder run for illustration purposes. And we're now going to speed it up until the moment one of the phones taps out. And the first one to do that is the iPhone 15 with a score of 13 hours and 25 minutes. That's a pretty decent showing, but obviously there are longer lasting phones, so we keep on going. And we stop next right here when the next phone dies, and we flip it over. This is the iPhone 15 Pro, which gets a score of 14 hours and 54 minutes, nearly an hour and a half longer, which could be thanks to the variable refresh rate, which helps. Anyway, as we expected, the bigger phones still have some juice left, so let's zip forward once again. And next we see the black screen on the iPhone 15 Plus at exactly 16 hours and 21 minutes since the beginning of the test. And this leaves the iPhone 15 Pro Max to be the winner, but let's see how much exactly does it score. And we fast forward again and stop right here when we see it tap out at exactly 19 hours and 20 minutes, which is again a big difference over the 15 Plus. And here's once again a recap of the results of this web browsing test for all four iPhone 15 models. We, however, don't want to base all our assumptions on just one test. So next up we go back to the drawing board. Once again, all phones on the table, fully charged at 100%, and this time we'll be running them down by playing YouTube videos. That's something many of us do, and it's a great and quite realistic use case. And so just as before, we'll fast forward and show you a placeholder instead of the full-length test, which takes many hours. And we do fast forward right here until the first phone dies, and we see that this time is the iPhone 15 Pro. Time on the clock is 6 hours 54 minutes, which is just a decent score, not quite great. We of course keep on going and zipping forward once again until we have the next black screen, and we flip the phone around. Is the iPhone 15. Not a surprise, but it did score 7 hours and 51 minutes, nearly an hour longer than the Pro model this time around. Remember that for YouTube videos the frame rate is locked and the same on all phones, so maybe that's why the larger battery of the vanilla iPhone 15 made a difference here. That's one theory we have. So right now we're left with the iPhone 15 Plus and the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and we fast forward this video until the moment right here, and this time it is the iPhone 15 Pro Max that dies first with a score of 9 hours and 45 minutes. Pretty good, but let's see how long will the iPhone 15 Plus last. And we go forward once again until this very moment, and we have 11 hours and 45 minutes on the clock, and that is a really impressive score. So here's once again a recap of the results of this second test for all four iPhone 15 models. Okay, that's interesting, but what does all of that really mean? Well, here at PhoneArena we do a few estimates based on our battery testing, and we estimate that with the iPhone 15 you can expect 1.26 days of use. And with the iPhone 15 Pro just slightly more at 1.27 days of use. So for the average person, this means you can get through a full day and then some on a single charge. Now for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, we estimate 1.65 days of use, which means nearly 40 hours between charges. And finally, the longest lasting phone in our testing is the iPhone 15 Plus, which gets an estimate of 1.68 days of use, a bit longer than the Pro Max. Now, if you're curious to learn more about how other phones perform in our battery tests, check out the link in the description to this video and let us know which phones you want to see us test next. My name is Vic, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.